are doing raisin roll or currants roll, and I hope that you are going to stay tuned until the end so you can see how to make this lovely dessert, okay? So, we also have a collab session, so if you want to do this step by step with me, have your ingredients out and everything, just comment on our live chat and we will send you the link so that you can collab with me, okay? We are going to get on the roll here soon. If you are just joining, thank you so much. Welcome to Spice Isle Cafe and happy Easter to you all. Today we are going to make raisin roll or currants roll because traditionally we used to use currants for this dessert here. It's a beautiful dessert. I love it. My mom and I especially at home. We love eating that dessert and I hope you would love it too. Again, if you want to collab with me and start doing this from scratch, have all your ingredients out, you can find the recipe on spiceislecafe.com and we will collab. And I have two very excited people here ready to collab with me. They already have the ingredients ready. Welcome Gabe, welcome Terrence, and they will be doing this with me. Again, if you are going to try this recipe and you want to do it step by step with me, you can just send a message in the chat and we will send you a link, okay? Let's get started. So, today, to start making currants roll, you should have 2 cups flour. I have it all laid out here. You should have very cold butter and 8 tablespoons of that. If you not using butter or you're using some butter and shortening, that's fine. You can use 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 tablespoons of shortening and combine that, but I'm using all butter today, okay? So, I have a beautiful but small food processor that I am going to put everything in. If you don't have a food processor, that's fine. I use the bowl for a long time, okay? So, let's dump our flour in the food processor right now, okay? Those of you on the collab session, you can dump your flour in the food processor or in your bowl, whichever one. Welcome, welcome. Happy Easter, everyone. We are doing currant roll or raisin roll. Beautiful. Okay, so I have my flour in. You should have, it's all-purpose flour, 2 cups of that. And if your butter is not salted, you can throw in a pinch of salt now. But mine is salted, so I'm not adding salt. If you are using unsalted butter, please put a pinch of salt in your flour. I am not using that, so that's the next thing. Dump your butter in your flour. Okay, do we have those 2 steps down?
Those on the collab, feel free to unmute your mics, ask any questions, you know, anything you want to do.
So, 8 tablespoons. So you can just cut it up in cubes. They look like this. You can just cut it up in cubes. Beautiful. If you have an 8 tablespoons, just cut it up so it's 1 stick of butter or half a cup of butter. It's 8 tablespoons. So just cut it up in chunks. Put it in your food processor or in your bowl. That's the 2 steps now, basically. And if it is not salted butter, put a pinch of salt. Yes.
What kind of consistency should we be looking for?
Okay, so it's going to be a bit chunky at first until we start rolling it out. But for now, once you put your flour and your butter, if you have a food processor, we're going to pulse that. And if not, you're going to use your fingers until it turns kind of, I like it. He has like a mixer. We're going to mix it. I like that. Terrence also has a mixer. So then you want it to turn almost like peas. The butter and the flour. We're gonna mix that now. I'm gonna pulse mine, and then we're gonna next step. Make sure you have cold water. Put out cold water. Okay? Are you ready for that step? Those who so people are collabing with me here, and the rest of you on here, we are so happy to have you making currant roll, and we are just mixing the butter and the flour.
I just want to point out the amount of support you're getting from the jiu-jitsu community because right now everyone on the collab is a jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I just want to put that out there. Hint, hint.
My goodness. All right, guys, are you ready to pulse and mix the flour and the butter mix? Those of you who are just tuning in, we're making currant roll or raisin roll, and we're mixing the flour and 8 tablespoons of butter. Okay, I have to tell you, because I like a lot of butter, I just throw in some extra pieces in there just for some extra flakiness. But just stick to your 8 tablespoons. Ready? I am pulsing hold on, I need this plugged in the side. Yeah, well, yes, just make sure and plug it in. I think my husband took out the plug. That's what it is.
Oh no, yeah, blame it on me.
Alright, so get ready, I'm pulsing. Okay, so I'm gonna take my offset spatula here and just kind of like mix this a bit so that the flour can get in there. And then I am going to start adding the cold water. Okay? All right, this is, all right, there we go. Question? Oh, cold water, when you're dealing with pastry, it is important to use a lot of the cold water because that helps everything stay nice and moist and it gets that flaky texture you want for dough. Because when your hands get too warm, then the pastry just kind of lies flat. All right, guys, how we doing? Can we add cold water now? So when you mix this, or if you are using your hands, really you can just go in there, or your fingers rather. Don't use your whole hand. Just go in with your fingers, and it will be nice and chunky. You might not get the peas-like texture right now, but that's okay. I'm gonna add water in. Now you can use if you have one of these, you can use them by tablespoons, throwing it in, but I have done this so often that I kind of know what. I'm just gonna pour some water bit by bit and keep pulsing, okay?
All right, don't pour too much. Remember how I showed you the last time.
And then once you keep pouring the cold water and it starts forming kind of like a ball, then you stop, all right? So I'm gonna just pour some water in here again.
Oh, so Cecil was saying to remind you that on the stream, see, they can't hear the questions people are asking here, so just repeat the question so they can hear.
They're asking. So they were asking me earlier why use cold water, and I said, well, when you're working with pastry, for you to get that flakiness, that moisture, that beautiful texture, so when you taste your pastry, it melts in your mouth, the butter and cold water really helps with that kind of texture. So mine here, I use like, I would say about 6 tablespoons of water sort of, and it's already forming into that ball. So I know it's about time for me to stop. And now I'm gonna take some plastic wrap and dump all my mixture on that plastic wrap. finish mixing it, guys, you can take a big piece of plastic wrap. I'm gonna take this out of here. Are people seeing close-ups?
Alright, yep. Those on the live stream, let me know if you want to see even closer.
So I'm gonna dump my you don't want to overwork this pastry. So when you take out your mixture from your bowl, just dump it on the plastic wrap one time, and I'm gonna show you a trick. So what I do,
what your consistency looks like.
let me see.
You understand what the consistency looks like, so you can show it.
Okay,
So
so
just
you're
that mini
gonna see right here. So it's kind of doughy, but you can still see the big chunks of butter or shortening. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna knead this again with my hand. I am going to fold this into a disc. So dump it all on your plastic wrap. And then I'm going to take the plastic wrap. Do you have your plastic wrap down? And you dump everything on there. Take out your plastic wrap. Dump your mixture on your plastic wrap. And then you use the plastic wrap itself to help you fold this into a disc. So I just kind of I fold the top, fold the sides, so you're not getting your hands, because we have heat with our hands and fingers. So if we keep working the dough like that, it's going to get too warm. So just take the plastic wrap, work this in, and then form a disc and fold it, and we're putting it in the refrigerator. Let me know, guys. We are making currants roll, and now we are about. You can still see the chunks of butter in here. Don't knead too much. Just put everything in a plastic wrap, form a disc, and then we will put it in the refrigerator and we'll wash it. You guys get to see this? So you're still seeing big chunks of butter, which you want. All right. All right, fold into a disc like this. Great, perfect. And now let's put it in the refrigerator. Usually I put this in for 20 minutes, but because of this live, we're not gonna spend so long. So let's say instead of the fridge, let's put it in the freezer for 10 minutes. And then let's wash up and work on our other condiments. If you are just tuning in, welcome, welcome. We are making currant roll today, or raisin roll. Traditionally, we used to make this pastry with raisins, but oftentimes now you can only find, we used to make it with currant, but oftentimes you find raisins now, so that's what we're making it with. All right, guys, the people are collabing with me here on the live, learning how to make currant roll from scratch. Now, you can impress your loved ones with this beautiful dessert, okay?
So while we're getting ready, Carol,
yeah, go ahead.
I want to get to know you, because I really don't know who you are. I get to know you already. So, what is it?
If you're married to me almost 9 years and don't know who I am, something is wrong.
Don't speak over me. So, what is it that you like to watch other than Idris Elba and Morris Chestnut? Just tell the people.
You're talking about men that I like to watch. Okay. Apart from you, honey, apart from you, I love. You mean what shows I like to watch?
Yeah.
You know me. If it's Food Channel and AGTV, anything on AGTV, I don't care if it's Property Brothers, House Hunters, Chip and Joanna. I love those couple, and their Fixer Upper. I love all AGTV, but I love the kitchen. So Food Channel, I love watching Chopped and Guys Grocery Games and Diners, Drive-In and Dives. I mean, the Food Channel, and AGTV. If I'm not doing that, I'm watching Ellen DeGeneres or The Voice.
I don't know why I don't hear any of my shows like Strike Back and Westworld and Money Hacks,
Listen, everyone has, their preference, but for me, it has to be
my preference is the preference.
related.
Anyhow, you're getting sidetracked. Let's go. Condiments.
You're sidetracked me. Anyway, so we are making one raisin roll today. If you are just joining in, welcome. Happy Easter. And we are continuing with our meal here. We have our dough resting in the refrigerator or in the freezer right now, and we are going to make sure we have the rest of the condiments to put on our dough. All right, so I have a few people collabing with me. Shout out to Terrence Smith and Gabe. They are cooking with me, doing the step by step. If you want to do that, you can just indicate on the chat and we will send you a link. All right, so now you need like a cup of sugar. It can be brown sugar. You can mix brown and white sugar, or you can do it all with white or all with brown, whatever your preference is. I have a cup of sugar ready. I have a cup of raisins ready. And I have some nutmeg and cinnamon all here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. Now, this is optional, but I like it because I think it adds some flavor. So I'm going to take my sugar and just put it in another bowl so I can show you the mixture. So a cup of brown sugar, or it could be brown and white or all white, whatever you like. Put it in a bowl and put your cinnamon and nutmeg or whatever seasoning you like in that sugar and mix it up. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just mixing my sugar.
Are we watching the time for what's in the freezer?
I know off my head.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
How long stuff is in there. And I will tell you what's what. Okay, so once you mix up the sugar with your cinnamon and nutmeg or whatever it is that you like, seasoning wise, you just set it aside. That's fine. Let me just wipe my table. Now, this is also purely optional, but the cup of raisins, I squeeze like a half of a lemon in the cup of raisins. Now, this is optional. Here's why I do that. I feel when the acid from the lemon helps cut some of the sweetness, because raisins by themselves are sweet, and then you have sugar again, that's sweet. So I think sometimes it helps cut some of the sweetness if you don't want your dessert overly sweet. So I am just going to squeeze half of a lemon in my raisins. You can do it in your hand like this and just cup your hand, or you can take a strainer and just squeeze it in there. It's fine. Or there's another tool I think my husband got me a long time ago. This here. Good catch, Carol.
I got you or got me, because I do most of the cooking.
Oh
but
my
go
goodness.
ahead.
So you can, another fancy smancies, there are 3 different things you can do. I'm going to put this face down and just squeeze it in my raisins. Alright? And this will help it kind of like plump, puff up a little bit and be all nice and plump. And I am going to throw just a little extract, vanilla extract in there. Again, it's optional. I'm just telling you my preference. But as you do this or try this a couple of times, you will realize that you find what works best for you and your family, okay?
So is that like one of your secret ingredients?
I wouldn't say secret because I'm telling the world here.
Okay. 'Cause I know I haven't shown you all my secret ingredients as yet. You know.
All right, people, if you have questions, let me know. So if you should have right now my collab friends, do you have your sugar mixture with your cinnamon and nutmeg? If you like these seasoning, good job. And your raisins, do you have lemon or lime, and then you have a little bit of essence on there?
Yeah, I think we're getting a question.
Okay, so we're getting a question. You guys can come in with a question.
Oh, I meant from the from the collab.
Oh no, I think. What's the question? Do you have a question, or you good? They have no question. They're good. All right. I am happy to know that some people are collaborating with me on this. What I will tell you to do in the meantime is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Okay, Google, preheat oven to 350 degrees. And then let's get our other tools out. Get your rolling pin and get just about a third cup of flour so you can sprinkle on the table when you roll out your dough, okay? So we're just doing some prep while our dough is getting ready in the oven. So do that, as well as I would say get another 4 tablespoons or so, or it just depends on how you want this, but 4 tablespoons of butter. You can put that out because that we're gonna melt to spread before we add our sugar and our raisins. So get your rolling pin, get your flour to dust, and get your butter that you are going to melt so we can spread that. All right, thank you again for joining us on this live Easter Sunday baking with Spice Isle Cafe. I am doing a raisin roll, or traditionally we call it currant roll, and it's a beautiful dessert that I loved. I mean, I still do. I still love, but I love it especially when I was in college back home, and after college, you pass by the bakery and can get some hot raisin roll. Ooh, I tell you, it was amazing. I hope you enjoy these kind of desserts and baking with your family. All right, so we should have our rolling pin, flour to dust. We should have our sugar and our raisins. And now I would say you can put out your butter as well that we would use to melt. Thank you all for joining me today on this live Easter Sunday doing raisin roll.
So, Carol, I have another question
All right,
for you.
Spit out the questions.
No, yeah. About how long ago did you learn how to make these raisin rolls? Other than when I corrected you on how to learn it in college. But
so when my husband and I got married almost 9 years ago, I realized that he loved to snack a lot. And I know that one of the things that I loved snacking on was raisin rolls.
So you're blaming it on me?
So I practice, literally almost, for the length of our marriage, really, to perfect this.
Oh, Eric is online. Eric Malaysia. Yeah, Eric's
Hi.
online. He's saying hi.
Hi, Eric. Nice.
Just joined us.
Thank you for checking out my live. Welcome to Spice Isle Cafe. We're making raisin roll. Say hi to wifey. Okay, guys, there are people collaborating with me, and making the raisin roll from scratch. We have our flour resting. Now we are going to put the butter in the microwave for like I would say 15 seconds to melt. All right.
You sure it's 15 seconds? When I do it, it's more like 10.
Yeah, we need the butter to melt. About 15 seconds in the microwave. And if it's not melted, you can put it for another 5 seconds. So you should be melting your butter right now in the microwave for about 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, so you take it out and just leave it there to cool a little bit. And because you are going to be taking out very cold pastry, so you have your butter out, okay? Welcome, welcome. Happy Easter, everyone. We're making currant roll or raisin roll if you have raisins. Our dough is in the refrigerator cooling off. We just mixed our sugar, which is 1 cup, with cinnamon and nutmeg. And we have our raisins here. I just squeezed some lemon and put some essence on it, or vanilla extract. We melted our butter, and now I am going to take out the dough. Guys, are you with me? Great. Let's take out the dough from the refrigerator. It should have been about 10 minutes already. Okay. Now, let's sprinkle some flour on our surface. Make sure and give yourself a good surface. Sprinkle some flour. Take the dough out of your plastic wrap and put it on the surface. Also, make sure and flour your rolling pin. Okay? And now we are going to just press in, pull it towards you, and pull it away from you. Pull it towards you, pull it away from you.
So Eric was asking, what time can we come over, LOL. So I was telling him as soon as the stream ends, remember your hazmat suit though.
Okay, and then you can switch your dough around, okay? If it's coming apart, that's okay, just push it in. Push it in. I'm not hearing any questions. It looks like Terrence is talking, but I'm not hearing him.
His mic is probably muted.
Make sure your mic is not muted.
No, it's just something to my Google Home.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, good. You pull it towards you and away from you. Now, here's the trick. So it looks almost like a rectangle. When you reach to that point, even if it doesn't look like a rectangle, it's fine. I'll show you what to do next. We're going to fold it like an envelope. Are you guys ready? So watch me. We are going to take the first part, do it halfway. The next part halfway. And then fold up. It's kind of like puff pastry. So I'm going to put it rectangular again. So let me show you. Okay, so this is the whole dough. I have it like a rectangle. Right? I fold half, another half, and then I just put this on top. Got it? Got it, Gabe? Now let's take this and put it back in the fridge. Make sure that we wrap it in our plastic wrap and put it back in the fridge. Now, what I would say for me, because I like my extra flaky, I normally do this step a couple of times, but you don't have to. For the sake of this video, I am actually going to do this one time after we take it out of the fridge. Then we're gonna roll it all up. So when you're putting it in the refrigerator now, it should look like this, like a almost like puff pastry. When you purchase puff pastry in the what do you call it, in the store. Got it? All right, let's put that back in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna clean up, but just know you're still gonna use this again when we're gonna roll out our dough, okay? So I'm just gonna, don't wash your rolling pin because you have to use it. So just put it on the side and you can kind of clear out your working station, wash your hands, and I can have questions. So if you are just joining in, thank you so much. We are making a raisin roll or currant roll today. We have our dough resting in the refrigerator. And we have all the rest of our condiments here. We have our sugar, we have our raisins, we have melted butter, and now we are going to take out one egg. We are going to take out an egg and just beat it and have it there for when we roll out our dough. I'm going to get a good wash on my hands. Thank you all so much for joining. Today we are making a raisin roll or currant roll, and we are definitely going to enjoy this dessert afterwards for Easter. How are all my collab friends doing over there? Good, fantastic. Okay, let's get the egg out. Just beat one egg and have it resting there. So I just break my egg. And I would also say to put some extra flour. You know, just have some extra flour ready for when you're about to dust again. I'm going to beat my egg. If I can find a fork. Okay. So, now with this egg, I'm sure you've seen on my website the recipe. It asks for a tablespoon or so of water or milk. It's up to you. But you don't want it too eggy when you brush it on. So I would just say with this egg, put a little bit of your some water in or milk. Yes, you can use milk or water, whichever one. I'm just going to use water here, but that's fine. Thank you all for being so prepared, all my collab fans. I am going to add some extra flour because I know I would need that when time to roll out this dough, because that's where things can get tricky.
So Carolyn, I have a question.
Yes, honey.
If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Oil down? If I could eat one meal for the rest of my life, would be my national dish from the Spice Country, Grenada, called oil down. That will be the meal for the rest of my life. I do.
You sure it's not Antigua's Duck and Saltfish?
No, it's not Antigua and Duck and Saltfish. I mean, I love rice and peas, and I love roti and curry goat and all of that good thing and oxtails. But I have been craving my national dish for a long time because I can't find all the ingredients here. So if I have to eat one meal for the rest of my life, would be our national dish. Why down for you?
So we have a question coming from Katie Bright, and she's asking, can you do a turnover bake along on the next video for the persons that don't like currant roll? I don't know of anyone that doesn't like currant roll.
Oh yes, some people do not like raisins, and they would prefer using coconut and whatnot. So the next time I do a live, which would be, you know,
sometime this week,
and you will get the information ahead of time, will be turnovers, as we call it back home. And I know for Antigua, my husband's country, they call it coconut rolls. So I am going to do coconut rolls. The dough is going to be slightly different. The good thing with this dough for currant roll is that you don't need any rising agent. No rising agent for this dough. So just remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. And the next week, I will definitely do some turnovers, or what we call coconut rolls. That would be next week. The whole Easter season will be baking season at the Edwards house and Spice Isle Cafe. So
you're lucky to have a man that can teach you how to bake, you know, and guide you.
Oh my God, he is a hot mess. How my collab fans doing? You guys have all your condiments ready? We have to give the dough a little bit of time, because it's hard to work if it is too soft, because we still have some butter and so on in there. And if we roll it out too soon, it's going to be sticky, you know. So we'll just give it just a few minutes, and then we are going to get ready to roll it on out. Traditionally, I would do this step. I will repeat step 2 a couple times to make sure we have it right. But for now, I know we want to eat this dessert. Oh, another thing to do while we get ready is to prepare your pan with parchment paper. So, this is I don't even know what size this is. Oh, this is a 17 by 11 inch pan, but you can choose a 16 by 11 or 16 by 12, whichever you want. You just need a pan with a parchment paper. So, and just make sure and line it with parchment. This time you don't necessarily, if you don't have parchment paper, you can just grease it on. And if you don't have anything to grease on this, you just use foil paper, but just be mindful, the foil paper may get sticky if the sugar oozes out. Questions?
Yeah, just to confirm, you can put that in the dough in the fridge or the freezer?
It doesn't matter. You can put I put the dough back in the freezer for me just because I wanted a quick time. So if you have it in the fridge, you can just put it in the freezer real quick, or if it is in the fridge, based on where you have it in the fridge, it will get cold faster.
Okay.
Yeah. So repeat what question again? Oh, the person asked if I put my dough in the fridge or the freezer. Now, I put it in the freezer just because we don't have enough time with this video for me to be doing 20-minute segments of me repeating step 2. So I have to put it in the freezer to be, to freeze up quickly and then roll it out. So get your parchment paper and line your baking sheet. Get your parchment, line your baking sheet, have your rolling pin ready, have the flour to dust, your sugar, and your butter that's melted, and everything else, the egg and raisins, okay? Thank you all again. again for joining in. This is Spice Al Cafe, and today we are doing raisin roll. I have two people doing the collaboration with me and doing this thing step by step. For those of you who just enjoying the Sunday and watching this video, thank you so much for joining in. And I hope you will try this recipe soon. Check out Spice Al Cafe. Make sure to like, share, subscribe and to the channel, and there is more to come. I certainly, for those people who do not like raisins but you like coconut, I am going to do a turnover or coconut roll come next week. Maybe I would say at least by Easter Tuesday. That would be the goal, but it all depends on the tech guy here and what he has going on.
I can multitask.
He's pretty quiet these days. He's pretty quiet these days, y'all.
Oh no, I don't want to show you up, you know.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
He just said he didn't want to show me up. I can do that all by myself. Y'all know that. Okay, so we're almost ready to roll out our dough. Who else is everyone's stove ready? My collab friends. Everything is preheated to 350 degrees. I'm getting a thumbs up. So I would say let's get to crack-a-lacking. All right, sprinkle your flour first before you even open the fridge to take out the stuff. Sprinkle the flour on your surface and sprinkle some on your rolling pin. Great. Now you take out the dough and I will show you what you'll do. All right, take it out of the plastic wrap. Now listen, you do not have to fold this the way I did. If after you fold it in a disc, you are ready to, put all your condiments, roll it and bake it, you can do that so too. This is how I get the layers and the level of flakiness. So I do this process sometimes 2 or 3 times, just so I can get extra flakiness. But you do not have to do this step multiple times if you don't want to. But anyway, now the dough is out. Make sure this is nice and floured because we don't want sticking, okay? Since yes, I haven't done this for the extra 20 minutes. All right, ready to roll. We have our rolling pin. We have this, it's all nice and folded, and we want a rectangular shape, so we're gonna move up and then we're gonna move down. Are we ready? I'm pressing into it first of all, and then I push. You push forward and then you pull back. Push forward and you pull back. At least that's what works for me. I don't know if it is it's professional, but all I know, that's what works for me. I push forward and I pull back.
When I do it, I pull back, then push forward.
Then I am going to flip the dough over. It just helps me so I don't work one side too much and then it gets sticky. I push forward and I pull back. Push, pull, push, pull. And you see, just the thing with all-purpose flour is that it retracts. So you have to, when it gets stubborn, you have to tell it who is boss. Push forward and pull back. And we want that rectangular shape, okay? Push forward, pull back. That's it. Push, pull, push, pull. That's all we're doing. Yes. Okay, mine is 7 parts. It should be able to lift like this. Look at this, y'all. See? So you don't want it too thin. If it's doing that, you're on the right track. That's the spirit. My collab friends are doing a fantastic job. Kudos to you guys. So here's what we're gonna do. Now that you have, you want about, if you have a ruler, I would say anyway from, 12 inches and beyond is what you're looking for on all sides. Okay?
But I didn't see you measure. How do you know?
I've been doing this too long.
Huh.
So my husband give me a hard time with, with this. So what I will do now to make everything nice and even, I'm going to use a knife. All right, and just cut out some extra stuff on the sides. Okay, so to make it look nice and even, I'm going to cut some extras out. And just making it nice and even. Now when you're doing it for your family, you don't need extra fancy smancies. You just you want to eat. So
What's a fancy spancy?
You don't need for it to look extra special. Okay, so do we have our dough ready? It should look something like this. I have to say something like this because mine is a little bit rough today. I'm going to push this just a little bit extra. All right, if you have everything laid out, kind of like a rectangle, I have to say kind of like a rectangle because it might be a perfect rectangle. Take your butter and something to brush it on. If you don't have something to brush it on, you can use paper towel or so and just dip it in and brush it on. So I'm brushing on butter. Just brush on the butter, y'all. Thank you all for tuning in. We're making Currant's roll today. I'm brushing on butter on our dough that we did from scratch, my collab friends and I. And we're just brushing on melted butter on our dough. This is a nice little, if you are dating, you can, have your significant other come and just do some, get dirty with flour together.
Do we get to use oil too?
Just butter.
That works.
Just butter. Okay, so I think this is nice and lathered, So now I would say, after you brush this on and it looks nice and even all around, now we sprinkle the sugar. I'm just going to use my hand since it's already, in all of this. So let's just sprinkle the sugar, but kind of from the top. You may or may not use all the sugar. And that's fine. So thank you all for joining in. We are doing a raisin roll today. We knead our dough and now we are laying out some sugar on our dough, trying to make everything nice and even. When we're finished with that, take the raisins, sprinkle on top. Make sure it's even. Don't let a lot of raisin pile up on one end and then the other end doesn't have. So we just need even distribution as much as possible. Even distribution as much as possible. Beautiful. Okay, so this is kind of what it will look like. And now wash your hands just a tad. And then we are going to do a method I call the tuck and roll. Tuck and roll method here. I'm coming up with all sort of terminology.
You probably got that from jiu-jitsu.
So here's the thing. So you need to start from the edge. I'm going to put just a tad bit on my edge so I can show you how I tuck and roll, from the end.
You have to use opposite arm to opposite leg and dive into your shoulder first.
Okay, so are we ready? You start from the bottom and go up. So let's just take this dough, lift it up. Everyone, thank you all for joining in. Take the dough, lift it up right here. So you tuck it. That's like you're tucking in the kids at bedtime. We're tucking. And then just use your part of your palm, the end of your palm to push, to roll. Okay, so your finger, you start with the finger to start it, and then you come up. See? kind of, so you start with your finger, you tuck a little bit again, and then you just push. You roll. That's why it's current roll. You have to roll it in. Okay? Don't worry if it's not, it doesn't look perfect. It doesn't have to look perfect. You want it a little bit rustic. Tuck and roll until the end. So you tuck it in and you roll it up until the end. And when you reach the end, let me tell you how we do it from here. Tuck and roll until the end. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just once you can tuck and roll from here. Let me move all these things to the side. So you can see this. Tuck and roll business. All right.
So there's a Berkeley Francis saying nice, nice. Don't know if you know.
Hi. I'm cutting out the piece of mine at the top just so I can show you what I do from here. So we finished tucking and rolling. My collab friends are here with me, so if you see my eyes sway to the right, it's because I'm talking to my collab friends who are doing this step by step. Okay? We finished tucking and rolling. Now, the end is very crucial. This is where you pinch. So you take the bottom, you can use, just wet your hand just a tad. Just wet your hand with water or milk and just kind of like, and then this is what I do. I just wet my hands. Let me show you again. I wet my hands and I just pinch this. I just pinch. Watch me. Pinch. Watch me pinch. Watch me pinch it.
I'm gonna ask you to do it one more time.
Pinch. Okay. All right. Just having a little fun, y'all, making currants roll. So we're gonna pinch, 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 pinch. You can wet your hands.
Okay, show one more time.
Watch me pinch. Watch me pinch it. Hey, watch me pinch, pinch. We're just having a little fun with the currant roll. So here's the thing. Wash your hands. And the seam here has to be at the bottom. Tuck this side in like this. Watch me. The ends, tuck it in. Nice. Tuck in the end, tuck in the other end. Okay? And now I wash my hands real quick. Wipe my hands. Make sure your hand is dry. It cannot be wet. Okay, so I'm wiping my hands. Wash your hands. Make sure your hand is dry. And I am going to take this, the seam that I have, and it has to be at the bottom. Are you ready for this? So, be very careful. I'm holding, as much as I've done this 1,000 times, I'm telling you, it gets tricky. So you can lift the top, and for me, and make sure the seam is at the bottom. Make sure the seam is at the bottom. So you can just roll on the side and lift. I do this. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm doing Muay Thai or something. Just roll on the side and lift.
Wait, Sean, you just watched Ip Man 4 last night. That's why I feel
so, next. Then we take our egg wash with a little water and we brush it on. Nice, and we brush it on. Make sure the sides are tucked in, the seam is at the bottom, and we can tuck this in. Thank you all for collabing with me, and the rest of you who are just on watching, thank you all for joining on this beautiful Easter Sunday. Okay, so we're all nice and ready to put in the oven. So this is what mine looks like. And I am going to put this in the oven, make sure everything is nice and tucked at the bottom. and it goes into the oven at 350 degrees for half an hour. Now, when this is in the oven, don't open and close or anything. Just leave it there alone. I'm going to clean up. And in the meantime, you can ask me any questions. You can show me what you have, and I can help you with how you put it in.
Which rack are you putting it in the oven?
I'm putting it on the top rack. If your oven, you can put it in the middle. I'm going to put my light on, my oven light, and you can see it from here. So you can, he is asking which rack do I put it on. And I'm putting it at the top rack, but it's not like right on top of the oven. It's somewhere in the middle, but you know, towards the top, not the bottom rack.
So we have a question from Nikki. She wants to know if the same dough can be used to add a savory filling.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. The same dough can be used to add a savory filling with it because you're not using Raisin. The only thing I would add if I'm using a savory filling is to put an egg yolk in the dough. Why? Because for me, it's anytime I'm making pies of salt, whether it be quiche or something pie related, I would put one egg yolk and it just helps everything come together. So that's the only thing I would add with that same dough if you're doing a savory filling. Keep the questions coming. I am just cleaning up. We're making currant roll or raisin roll because I use raisins. And it's in the oven. It's gonna bake for half an hour, and then we're gonna take it out and cut it up, and we're gonna have our dessert. Happy Easter, y'all. Questions? Keep it coming. Collab friends, how are we doing?
We have another
How
question.
long do we set the timer for again?
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
30, okay.
Until it gets golden brown at the top. Based on your oven temperature, sometimes it 25 minutes, sometimes it goes to 35 minutes, but for me, it's always half an hour.
Right on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? We have two people collabing here with me, doing everything from scratch as I did it, and I'm sure they probably would do it better. And I can't wait to see their end product. So if you are just joining in, I am doing a raisin roll or currant roll as we traditionally knew it. And happy Easter to you all. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share Spice Al Cafe.
So, question. If you could choose to do anything for an entire day, what would that be?
Baking and cooking. I would bake and cook. Anyone knows me knows.
No, I asked, like, what would it be with not something that requires my guidance? Like, anything.
What do you mean? Like,
Oh, because, you can't bake or cook without me. So I'm saying, what else?
You mean apart from baking and cooking?
I guess we can go with
it
that.
It has to be involved. Some cooking or baking has to be involved in my day, or else my name is not going to be Carolyn anymore. But yeah, I love the kitchen. I love the kitchen. I love trying new recipes. I like creating new ones, and I like reviving the old ones, because growing up we did not have recipes per se to follow. You just know you put a dash of this and you throw a dash of that. But now learning to do the things that I love in the kitchen, I have to create them from scratch, so it's fun for me. I love just being in the kitchen all day. So you can eat, honey.
Me, I can handle, I thought everything, So what motivates you to work hard?
What motivates me to work hard? Listen, I'm not a lazy person. I have never been. I will never be lazy. I just feel I come alive when I can be creative and see that people like what I do, and they in turn make their family and themselves happy, and they build their self-esteem. So my motivation is to see other people happy. And when I see that, it in turns make me happy. So, and in the kitchen, I feel food, music, and there was one more thing in my mind, but it just slipped me. I think brings people together. So, language, that's the next thing. Food, language, and music. And if I have any part to do with that, sign me up.
Okay, so now we're gonna get a little deep. What makes you angry? Like what grinds
my gears?
What grinds your gears?
Well,
Peter Griffin would say.
What grinds my gears is when I wake up early in the morning and my husband already has his phone out, ready to make me, startle me.
Hey, you can't be putting me on blast.
Yeah, he's already to startle me with, with his scary face or some kind of move that would be like, oh, I jump. So that grinds me.
Now we know.
Oh my gosh, I'm just having fun with you, honey. I have to mess with you too.
Oh, it comes with a price. We all know that.
Thank you all for joining in. This is Spice Out Cafe. We're making currant roll or raisin roll. I'm cleaning up while the raisin roll is baking in the oven. I have a few people collabing with me. They are just doing their cleanup session as well, and waiting on this currant roll to be done so we can be eating. All right. Happy Easter. I hope you all are keeping safe out there, and I hope this little session or video brings you great joy as it does for me, and hopefully my husband too.
So, let me know, what's your favorite movie? While we're waiting on questions to come in, let the people know.
Listen, some of you may laugh. My husband is just asking me a lot of random questions, trivia questions, I would say. For me, of all times, and some of you may laugh because I like theater and I like musicals and The Sound of Music. I love that. I rewatched that. I think my entire family just got tired with me of rewatching this multiple times. So I would say my all-time favorite was The Sound of Music.
But a lot of movies having background music, and I call them musical. I think, for example, I, Robot was a musical. It had background music for beautiful scenes and stuff. Why didn't you pick something with more action?
Listen, I don't mind action, but I don't like anything that is like overly crazy with
I'm overly crazy.
I don't mind an adventure, but I'm a girl at heart. I love all the mushy stuff, all the romantic stuff, all the musical things. So if you want me to really enjoy a movie, make sure it has a great storyline and there is some, singing and drama, but not over the top.
That sounds like you're describing Quentin Tarantino. So, how much time do we got? How much longer do I have to wait?
My light is on in the oven, and I would see when it starts getting golden brown, and I would take it out. What I will tell my fans is to take out the cooling rack as we speak, so that as soon as the raisin will come out, we can rest it on the cooling rack before we cut it, because it has to be given some time before we cut it. Thank you all so much for joining in Spice Out Cafe. Today we are doing raisin roll, traditionally called currant roll, and I really hope that you guys try this recipe. I have a few folks here that's collabing with me. The raisin roll is in the oven baking up. I can smell it from here. I hope you guys will try this recipe, and I'm cleaning up while I take a few questions until this bakes.
So I want to know, for the upcoming session after this, the coconut turnover thingy, I just wanted to know if is that one a bake with you session too, or it doesn't
It could
depend?
be. It could be a bake with me session because this one is pretty straightforward as well. It involves dough, coconut, sugar, and butter. You can't go wrong. Well, this one you need a Raisin agent for this one.
So
But
if they want to bake with you, how do they do that? Do they just message you on your Instagram or on the blog?
Yeah, you can definitely message via Instagram or blog, which is spiceicafe.com, and my husband will have it all set up. I'm just into the cooking. So you can definitely
Technically, I'm the one that does the cooking.
Oh my goodness, everyone knows that Carol does the cooking and you do the eating. So, all right, collab friends, you have any questions? Are you guys just listening to Neil's shenanigans? All right, guys, you can definitely tune in and be a part of this beautiful Easter Sunday baking session with Carol on Spice Eye Cafe. We're making currant roll or raisin roll, and it's in the oven. As soon as it gets golden brown, we're gonna take it out and give it a little rest before we cut into it and enjoy this beautiful dessert. We're just cleaning up. My collab friends are also doing a cleanup session, and we wait for this thing to bake.
All right. I'm already hungry. You know, I find that this thing is taking a bit too long to bake.
Oh my goodness, he is ready for lunch. But the thing is, we have dukana and saltfish from the last from Good Friday, so that's what we'll be eating today.
I don't
Dukana
understand. I
and
can't
saltfish
have it
and
all.
chop up, and we'll have the raisin roll for dessert.
So, can't you give me an estimate of how much you think might be left on that raisin roll?
No.
I don't like the way you said no.
Maybe about 20 minutes or so.
Woo.
I just tell the people until it's golden brown, it's not gonna take long.
No.
Yeah, maybe another 15-20 minutes, and we will be taking this up for sure.
Okay. So
Questions?
Katie Bright is asking for a concrete date. When is the next baking cooking session?
I would say tentatively for now, the next baking session will be Tuesday. Easter Tuesday, because I need a day to breathe and gather all that I need and make sure that we have things ready to go. So I would say definitely we are thinking about a tentative date as Easter Tuesday.
I thought Easter Monday was the last day of Easter.
No, you have Easter Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
So Wednesday isn't Easter?
No, Easter Tuesday is a cutoff. So I'm gonna do it Easter Tuesday most likely and have the coconut rolls, or we call it turnovers for sure. So if you want to collab with me, you can get your coconut, you can get flour, you need yeast, there has to be a Raisin agent, and sugar with butter for sure. But not a lot of butter.
Oh, so you need the yeast for the turnovers?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. I was testing. I knew that, but I just wanted to know if you knew
Turnovers are
that.
very different from raisin roll or currant roll.
Okay, you're getting a big up from Antigua Howard, saying
Hi,
the cooking.
Howard.
He's saying the cooking show go on nice.
Hail up from Antigua, all my lovely people over there, saying hi. Thank you all for tuning in. My Grenadian posse, if you are tuning in, hi. Thank you all for joining in. People from California and the rest of you here in Texas. Thank you so much for tuning in and witness this current roll baking session with me.
So I think Howard wants to know, based on the way for the question, if you prefer the middle piece or the end piece of a current roll.
Oh, so that's always interesting. So, oh hi! Here is Puppy wants to say hi to me as well. Hi.
Let's switch over. Get that.
Someone wants to know if I prefer the end or the middle piece of the current roll. I'm a middle piece girl. Now the ends would be my sister and sister-in-law. They love ends and so forth, but I like the middle of the current roll. So when I cut, I leave the ends for last, and I go for the middle. You can come with your questions. I am happy to answer as I clean up. And we're making currants roll, raisin roll. We have another, I would say 10, I don't know, maybe close to 15 minutes, but less than 15 minutes now.
So, are you an introvert or extrovert?
I am definitely an extrovert. I am not an introvert.
Well, that was a little aggressive there. I feared for my life.
Anyone knows me know, like, I love interacting with people. Listen, I would say hi to you before you say hi to me. I'm definitely an extrovert, not an introvert. There are some times I may come across introverted, but for the most part, I'm an introvert. Thank you all for joining. Happy Easter. I hope you all are staying safe. Thanks to my Antiguan posse, Grenadian posse.
Yeah, and the Jiu-Jitsu crew.
The Jiu-Jitsu crew.
Which is who is pretty much doing the collab.
All my friends, acquaintances, everyone that's joining in, my family, thank you all for being a part of this. We're making a raisin roll or currants roll. And Easter Tuesday, most likely, we are going to be doing coconut rolls, or we call it back home turnovers. So you make sure you have your coconut, your butter.
In Antigua, as we call it correctly, coconut tart.
That coconut tart is not a whole different thing. I think it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I will not be corrected in public.
Coconut rolls. I think you guys call it over coconut rolls. Over there too, as some of the other
kind of correct an Antiguan, no.
So you can do your cleanup right now as we wait the raisin roll. It's maybe 12 minutes left or so now, I think. Gabe, what's your timer saying?
Let's see, my timer says just about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, so I'm right around that ballpark. Another 12 to 15 minutes, yeah. What is yours saying, Terrence?
Yeah, like 14 and a half.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So we're right around there, guys. Another close to 15 minutes, but it's under that. So we're just doing our cleanup session. You guys can shoot your questions to me. I am happy to answer them. Just a little bit about me. This is not in any way to boast, but before my husband asked me the question, I might as well tell you that I have been cooking and baking since I was 9 years old. So as much as I'm not like classically trained or so in like the culinary school or art, I think learning from my mom and grandma and aunties, and just looking on television and coming up with stuff that I think I'm really seasoned in the kitchen.
That's probably because of my